Leo, we're done. Serena Quinn slid a cashier's check for $5 million across the desk, her gaze as cold as surgical steel. Yesterday, she had been curled in my arms, tears in her eyes, whispering that this was her last act of willfulness. Today, she stood beside her fiancé, announcing to the room that I was a burden she'd foolishly tried to carry, a stain on her life she needed to scrub clean. My heart didn't just break, it froze, then shattered. I watched her link arms with the man beside her, greasy, older, smug. She smiled like a flower in bloom, as if our 3 years together were nothing but a fever dream. Apparently, her love had a price tag, $5 million. I wonder, then, what expression she'd wear in 3 days when I walked into her family shareholder meeting, not as her ex, but as their owner. Leo, let's break up. Serena's voice was calm, casual enough to be discussing the weather. She sat behind a massive executive desk, her tailored suit emphasizing her sharp, detached professionalism. The sunlight streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the Manhattan high-rise couldn't reach the abyss in her eyes. I stood in the center of the office, holding the takeout lunch I just bought her, my mind blank. What did you say? I thought I'd misheard. She didn't repeat herself. She simply pushed the check forward with an elegant, dismissive finger. $5 million. Consider it a severance package for the last 3 years. She paused. The pin is your birthday. I stared at the check. The string of zeros felt like they were mocking me. Serena, what is this? Who do you think I am? My voice trembled. The man beside her, Richard Zale, a middle-aged hedge fund manager with a receding hairline and a gut straining against his shirt, let out a scoff. He stepped forward, wrapping a possessive arm around Serena's waist. Kid, the message is clear, Zale sneered, looking at me like I was something he'd stepped in. Serena is marrying me. You? You're just a bro-code monkey. Time to bounce. I stared intently at Serena, searching for a crack in the mask, a hint of reluctance, a shadow of pain. There was nothing but glacial indifference. Serena, look at me, I said, enunciating every word. Did you forget everything you said last night? Last night, she had held on to me like a lifeline, sobbing. She had begged me to hold her tight, calling it her last indulgence. I thought it was work stress. I had comforted her all night. Now, I realized it wasn't indulgence. It was a premeditated goodbye. Serena's eyelashes fluttered imperceptibly, but her mask held. I forgot, she said. 2 words, sharp as poison daggers. Leo, for a woman in my position, love and marriage are 2 different balance sheets. I was naive before. Now, I'm getting back on track. Richard can give me the full backing of Vortex Capital. He can secure the future of Quinn Tech. She paused, her eyes sweeping over my wash-worn t-shirt with a sneer. And you? What do you give me? I fell silent. What'd I give her? A programmer's salary? A rental in Brooklyn? A future she couldn't see or touch? For 3 years, to keep things pure, I had played the role of the average, hardworking boyfriend. I never told her that the understated logo on my t-shirt represented a commercial empire she couldn't even fathom. I thought love could bridge the gap. I was naive. Get lost. Zale waved his hand impatiently. Take the money and vanish from Serena's world. Don't make me have security drag you out. I didn't look at him. My eyes were fixed on Serena. I walked up to the desk and gently placed the warm takeout container down. Your favorite. Eat it while it's hot. I turned, ignoring the check, and walked toward the door. My back was straight. Dignity was the only currency I had left. My hand touched the brass handle when Serena's voice stopped me. Wait. I paused, a flicker of hope igniting in my chest. Take the food with you, she said. I don't want to see anything related to you. It makes me sick. The door slammed shut behind me, severing 2 worlds. I walked out of the Quinn Tech building like a zombie. The midday sun was blinding, but I felt cold to the bone. It makes me sick. 3 years, 1,000 days, valued at sick. I laughed bitterly, eyes stinging. My phone buzzed. It was Kay, my co-founder and right-hand man. Leo, the quarterly report for the Apex Genesis Fund is out. 400% returns. Want to take a look? I took a deep breath, suppressing the turmoil in my gut. Email it. Kay paused. Voice sounds rough, boss. Trouble with the girlfriend? Ex-girlfriend, corrected. We're done. Silence on the line. Then, carefully, was it the identity issue? You could say that. I smiled grimly. I had founded Apex Capital, a global financial leviathan, but lived as Leo Vance, a nobody, just to find a love that wasn't about the money. I met Serena at a tech summit. She was the brilliant heiress. I was the face in the crowd. I chased her. I loved her focus, her hidden softness. I thought I'd found it. Reality just slapped me in the face. Forget her, Leo. Her loss, Kay said. You snap your fingers, and you can have anyone. It's not the same. I cut him off. The models chasing the founder of Apex were different from the Serena who once ran across Manhattan in a blizzard to bring me soup. Or so I thought. I hung up and hailed a cab, giving the driver an address I hadn't used in 3 years. My penthouse overlooking Central Park. Entering the apartment, the familiar luxury felt alien and hollow. I stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, looking down at the city. Quinteca's tower was visible in the distance. I imagined her in that office, laughing with Zale. The pain hit again. I opened my photo gallery. The last photo was from last night. Serena crying, eyes swollen, clinging to me. Last act of willfulness. Wait, Richard Zale. Vortex Capital. Serena wasn't the type to sell out for cash. She had pride, unless she was cornered. I called Kay back. Kay, my voice was ice. Run a background on Vortex Capital and Richard Zale. And give me Quinteca's financial for the last 3 months. Cash flow, debts, external threats. I want it in 30 minutes. Kay heard the shift in my tone. On it, I stared at the Quintec building. Serena, if you were forced, I will destroy everyone who pushed you. But if you really betrayed me, I'll make you watch as everything you traded our love for turns to ash in my hands. 20 minutes later, the encrypted file arrived. It confirmed everything. Quintec was dying. A failed chip research project had drained their liquidity. A patent troll had stolen their core tech. Banks had pulled credit. Shareholders were revolting. Quintec was on the edge of a cliff. Richard Zale and Vortex Capital were the sharks circling the water. He offered a $50 million lifeline, but the price was Serena. It wasn't an investment. It was a hostile acquisition of a person. The file also detailed Zale's history. Dirty money, blackmail, a trail of ruined women. He didn't care about Quinteca's future. He just wanted the asset and the girl. I finally understood Serena's cruelty in the office. It was a performance for Zale. She insulted me to prove she was serious about Zale, hoping to drive me away from the wreckage. She thought she was protecting me. She thought I was just a powerless coder who would get crushed by a man like Zale. So she broke my heart to save my life. My chest tightened, agonizingly sharp. Then came the rage. Zale. Vortex. Excellent. I closed the file and dialed the secure line to Apex Capital's Zurich headquarters. Mr. Vance, a respectful voice answered. Initiate protocol Nightfall. The line went silent for a second. Nightfall was our nuclear option. Total, unrestricted financial warfare. Target confirmation, sir. Vortex Capital and all affiliates. Duration. I want that name erased from Wall Street before the opening bell tomorrow. Understood, Mr. Vance. I hung up and poured a whiskey. The ice clinked. I watched the amber liquid. Serena, you try to end this war by sacrificing yourself. Now it's my turn. I'm starting a new war. The next morning, Wall Street woke up to a massacre. Vortex Capital, the rising star, was obliterated. Every portfolio company they held was hit with short-selling attacks and forensic accounting scandals. Zale was arrested at dawn by the FBI for securities fraud and money laundering. The market was in shock. Rumors flew about which god of finance had struck down Zale with such precision. I sat in my penthouse, eating toast. Kay called ecstatic. Now, absolute carnage. Vortex is gone. Zale is toast. What about Ms. Quinn? She doesn't know yet, I said. She had cut all contact. She probably still thought Zale was her savior. Do we tell her? Not yet. I watch the news. I don't just want to save her. I want her to realize that the savior she sold her soul for was made of glass. And the man she pushed away was a mountain. On the TV, Quintec was holding an emergency press conference. Serena looked gaunt in a black suit. Her father, Samuel Quinn, stood behind her, looking grim. We regret the events surrounding Vortex Capital. Serena's voice rasped, but Quintec remains committed to survival. A reporter stood up. Ms. Quinn, rumor has it you dumped your boyfriend of 3 years to secure funding from Richard Zale. Is this true? The room exploded. Serena froze. Samuel turned purple. The reporter was my plant. I needed to force her hand. No, Serena said, white-knuckled. My ex-boyfriend Leo and I separated due to irreconcilable differences. Mr. Zale was purely a business partner. Ms. Quinn, the reporter pressed. Sources say you gave him a check and called him a burden in front of staff. Is that true? Serena crumbled. She couldn't speak. Samuel Quinn grabbed the mic. Enough. This is private. My daughter dumped him because he was a nobody. A loser coder trying to marry up. The Quinn family doesn't accept failures. Samuel's words were a bucket of filth thrown in my face. Serena closed her eyes, tears streaming down. Watching from my penthouse, My expression went dead cold. Samuel Quinn, you just burned the last bridge. The press conference ended in chaos. Quintech stock plummeted again. The internet branded Serena a gold digger. She was cornered. I called a video conference with Apex's core team. 8 faces from global financial hubs appeared on screen. They stood up instantly. Boss. Seat. I projected the Quintech dossier. I want this company. Initiate a takeover. The European head frowned. Boss, it's a sinking ship. Toxic debt. No value. I'm not asking for advice, I said. I'm giving an order. Buy it. Spero no expense. I want 51% control in 3 days. Code name. I paused, thinking of her tear-stained face. Project Serena. The team was stunned, but they knew better than to argue. Yes, boss. The meeting ended. My phone rang. Unknown number. Lao. Serena's voice sounded broken. It's me. Can we meet? She asked, desperation leaking through. Sure, I said after a silence. Where? Quintech. The shareholder meeting. 3 days later. The air in the Quintech conference room was thick enough to choke on. The shareholders looked like they were waiting for an execution. Samuel Quinn sat at the head of the table, looking 10 years older. Serena sat beside him, pale and hollowed out. The past 3 days had been hell. Banks, investors, old friends, everyone had ghosted them. No one wanted to touch the radioactive fallout of the Vortex scandal. Quintech was finished. The agenda today was simple. Bankruptcy. Everyone, Samuel rasped. I failed you. Save it, a shareholder shouted. We trusted you. Now our money is gone. Pandemonium broke out. Serena bit her lip until it bled, silent. Quiet. Samuel slammed the table. I hereby announce. Quintech will initiate bankruptcy proceedings. Bang. The double doors swung open. The room went silent. I stood there. Gone was the t-shirt. I wore a bespoke Armani suit that cost more than their cars. Behind me stood a phalanx of lawyers and analysts, sharks in human skin. Samuel's jaw dropped. Serena stood up, so fast her chair tipped over. She stared at me with shock, confusion, and fear. I walked to the table. Who the hell are you? A shareholder yelled. Security. Don't be in such a rush to declare bankruptcy. Chairman Quinn. I pulled out a chair and sat. My assistant slapped the dossier onto the table. Allow me to reintroduce myself. I crossed my legs, my eyes locking onto Serena. I am Leo Vance, founder of Apex Capital, and I'm here to discuss an acquisition. Apex Capital. Samuel stammered. The room erupted. Apex was a myth, a trillion-dollar titan. Impossible. The founder of Apex is a ghost. It can't be this kid. Is this a joke? Serena stared at me, her world collapsing. The man who cooked her pasta, the man she thought she had to protect, was a god in the financial world. I smiled thinly, skeptical. I snapped my fingers. My team distributed documents. Over the last 72 hours, Apex has acquired outstanding shares from the secondary market and private equity holders. They opened the folders. Faces went pale. Apex Capital now held 53.7% of Quintech. The company had a new owner. Now, I lean back. Any more questions about who I am? Silence. Absolute, terrified silence. Samuel Quinn swayed, clutching Serena for support. He realized the magnitude of his mistake. He had called the man who held his life in his hands a loser on national television. I ignored him. I walked up to Serena. She looked at me, tears welling up, unable to speak. Ms. Quinn, I said softly, coldly. 3 days ago, you asked what I could give you. I lifted her chin, forcing her to look at me. Quintech, the legacy you and your father destroyed, it's mine now. And you, Serena, I lower my voice. From today on, your fate, your family's fate, is in my hands. Is that answer satisfactory? She trembled, tears spilling over. Why? She choked out. Why didn't you tell me? If she had known, she wouldn't have pushed me away. She wouldn't have humiliated me. Tell you, I laughed, a sound void of humor. So you could rest easy letting me fix your mess? Serena, I gave you a chance. When you decided to sell yourself to Zale, when you threw $5 million at me, when you called me a burden, you chose not to trust me. You saw me as a weakling who needed your sacrificial protection. You trusted a wolf more than you trusted your partner. That is what disappoints me. Every word was a lash. She collapsed in her chair, sobbing. She knew she had been wrong. Her arrogance had ruined us. Samuel Quinn's face was gray. Mr. Vance. He stuttered, dropping to his knees. I was blind. I'm a fool. Please. Dad. Serena cried. I looked at him with zero sympathy. Save the apology. I care about results. I turned to my assistant. Read the resolutions. Resolution 1. Removal of Samuel Quinn and all family members from the board. Resolution 2. Serena Quinn is demoted to project director, subject to probation. Resolution 3. Apex Capital will inject $100 billion to restart R&D. The room gasped. $100 billion. It was a resurrection, but the punishment was brutal. Samuel fainted. Chaos ensued. Serena just sat there, staring at me. I leaned down to her ear. Serena, you lost the game. I'm not your boyfriend anymore. I'm your boss. Samuel was rushed to the hospital. I went to the CEO's office, Serena's old office, and sat in the chair. It was mine now. A knock. Serena entered. She had composed herself, though her eyes were red. Mr. Vance. She stood like a subordinate. Seat. I want to resign. Resign. I raised a brow. Why? I have no dignity left here. Dignity? I scoffed. You sign a non-compete. You quit, you get nothing, and you can't work in tech for 5 years. Or I can fire you for cause. With your reputation right now, who would hire you? Leo, what do you want? Her voice cracked. Haven't you humiliated me enough? I don't want humiliation. I walked around the desk, trapping her against the chair. I want you to learn. Stop making decisions for me. From now on, your career, your life. Idicide. That's your new boss's first rule. She looked up at me, trembling. Do you still love me? The question broke the dam. The anger drained away. I looked at her hopeful, terrified eyes. I didn't answer with words. I kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It was possessive, punishing, reclaiming. She melted, clinging to me, sobbing into the kiss. When we broke apart, I rested my forehead against hers. What do you think? She hugged my neck, burying her face in my shoulder, wailing like a child, letting out days of terror. I'm sorry. Now, I'm so sorry. I should have trusted you. I held her tight. Idiot. When she calmed down, she looked up with swollen eyes. My dad. He's fine. I sent the best doctors. As for the company, I'll handle it, she tried to say. No. From today, you have one job. What? I wiped a tear from her cheek. Be my Serena, the one who relies on me. The CEO position. You can have it back when you're ready to be the chairman's wife. She stunned, then smiled through the tears. She kissed me. I accept. 3 days later, Samuel was discharged. I picked him up. Serena's mother looked at me with awkward fear. Mr. Vance. Call me Leo. In the room, Samuel tried to get out of bed. Now, I am sorry. It's in the past, I said. I've set up a trust fund for you both overseas. Retire. Enjoy life. Leave the company to Serena. They were shocked I wasn't destroying them. With me backing her, I said, she won't fail. Samuel wept. He realized his daughter had found a real protector. I took Serena to my penthouse. It was her first time seeing my real world. She looked at the view. Not surprised, I hugged her from behind. Why should I be? She leaned back, that old spark returning to her eyes. My man deserves the best. I laughed. The confident Serena was back. So when does the boss's wife visit Apex HQ? Nope. Quintech is a mess. I am Busse. She grinned mischievously. But you could be my secretary. Chairman's secretary? Expensive. How expensive? Takes a lifetime to pay off. She blushed. Outside, the New York skyline glittered. Our real story was just starting. 6 months later, with Apex's capital in tech, Quintech rose from the ashes. It dominated the market. Serena Quinn was on the cover of Forbes, the new queen of tech. And I was her secretary. I waited in the lobby with a lunchbox. A slick guy with roses was trying to get past security to see her. Can I help you? I asked. Who are you? Get lost. I smiled, dial K. Check a company called. Lee something. Small cap. Erase it from the market. 3 minutes. I looked at the guy. You can leave now. He ran. I walked into Serena's office. She beamed. Problem solved? Just a fly. I sat down and pulled her on my lap. Lunch. She ate, then looked at me seriously. Leo, did we just jump social classes? Why do you ask? 6 months ago, I was drowning. Now you're the queen. And you? I'm the queen's man. She laughed, then held my face. Thank you for not giving up on me when I was stupid, for building this kingdom. I interlaced my fingers with hers, looking out at the city we owned. Idiot. It's not my kingdom. I kissed her. It's ours. Story complete.